What's up everyone, this is Justin with Forbes, Hever and Wallace. We are not in the test kitchen today, as you can see. We are in Grandma's kitchen. And since we all have a little extra time on our hands and we're all stuck at home, I thought I would share a super simple hack for how to make homemade chicken stock. And the way we're going to do it is by using leftover bones from the rotisserie chicken that we buy the next time we make a grocery run. Now for restaurants, chicken stock is by far one of the benchmarks of a quality restaurant, and it is a painstakingly boring process when you're at the restaurant, but it's actually one of my most favorite things to make, and it's one of those things that a lot of places make, but not a lot of places make well because it requires one very important thing: patience. So what I'm going to show you is how to make a super simple version of this at home. Now, in a traditional restaurant, chicken stock is usually made with a ratioed amount of celery and carrots and onions called mirepoix. It's also made with a bundle of fresh herbs, which is usually bay leaves, fresh thyme, and parsley stems, not parsley leaves, because you want the flavor of parsley, but you don't want your stock looking like a St. Patty's Day drink. But we're not going to do any of that. We're going to do very, very simple here. We're going to use the bones, we're going to use the skin, and we're going to use whatever we have laying around the house, which I think I have is some garlic and some baby carrots. Now also at a restaurant, if you make stock, you're probably not going to put garlic in your chicken stock because you don't want that garlic flavor in everything that you're going to be using the stock for. But again, since we're at home, I love the flavor of garlic, and it's not like anybody's going to be able to smell my breath anyway, so who cares? All right, first up, after you've devoured your delicious rotisserie chicken, assemble the bones and skin in a pot. Use cold water to prevent cloudy stock and fill her up. Right here, I'm adding garlic and baby carrots that we mentioned earlier. We're going to want to fire up the stove, bring the stock to a boil, and then once it's at a boil, we're going to want to reduce the heat to bring the stock down to a simmer. And at this point, this is where we want to let it go. We're talking 4 to 6 hours at a low simmer. And once you reach that 4 to 6 hour mark, you basically got all you're going to get out of the stock. You can see right here we're about the 2 hour mark. Everything's looking pretty good, still simmering away. And right here is about the 4.5 hour mark. So now we're going to pull it off the burner and we're going to strain it. And you can stop right at this point once you've strained the stock, and you will have a delicious tasting stock. Notice the grease that's on top. You notice it's mostly caused by the skin that we added. In a restaurant, we probably wouldn't want that much grease, as it will make the stock cloudy and have an oily mouthfeel. But then again, we're talking about high-end restaurant establishments. At home, I like to add the skin because it has great flavor. And then I'll chill the stock, and once it's cold, I'll scrape off the grease and fat. As you can see here, this is the morning after. It looks like Jell-O. It's jiggly, it's gelatinous, and you can see that grease and fat on top. So what I'm going to do is just take a spoon and scrape off that grease and that fat. What I did was put it back on the burner, and I reduced that stock again by about half. And that's next level right there. And when you do that, you're talking about having a super concentrated, super flavorful chicken stock. And what I like to do once I get to this point is use it to finish off my sauteed mushrooms. I cook my rice or beans with it. I even do stuff like quinoa or savory oats. One final note. You might have noticed that there's one ingredient missing that you usually find in virtually every recipe ever. And that ingredient is salt. There's a reason that we don't put salt in chicken stock. And that is because basically all we're doing with stock, whether it's chicken stock, beef stock, or even vegetable stock, is we're taking a lot of liquid and we're reducing it down to a little bit of liquid. So if we add salt on the front end of that process, or at any point during that process, we're going to end up with a very, very salty product at the end. So that's why we do not add any salt during the cooking process of the stock. Salt is added at the end when you're using the stock for whatever food that you're preparing, whether it's a soup, or you're sauteing your mushrooms, or you're adding it to risotto or something like that. That's when you're going to add your salt. But we can flavor it other ways, like we saw at the beginning of this video, by adding in your vegetables, maybe some garlic, some fresh herbs, some lemon peel, anything like that, and that'll really, really maximize that flavor. All right, everyone, so that was it. My super simple hack for making homemade chicken stock. I promise you this is going to be 1,000 times more flavorful than anything you can buy in the store. So give it a whirl and leave a comment below if you tried it and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you soon. Have a good day.